Hello and welcome to this impressive view of Kundarak by night as viewed from the not insignificant structure that is the Kundarak Bank. We've had a couple of decisions to ponder at level 21. The feat to take was preordained. The whirlwind attack we'd been working towards since level 15. We took, what was it at 15? Dodge, mobility at 18, and now whirlwind at 21. I'm still getting used to having it there, so not using it as much as I should be, but I'm trying to do my best to remember it's there on the bar and it's there for a reason. There's quite a few different buttons and boosts and things gathering on the bar now. I've re-added the Raging Crush from the Orky tree for a single point, just for a bit of extra oomph when needed. We've been doing reasonably well. As you saw, the Borderlands went pretty well. And after that we tried one or two in Deneth, which went okay. And the spies in the house, including Kratos. One of you mentioned good luck with him recently in a post towards the end of the Alchemist life. He did rather well. He's done pretty well against most bosses. He's not killing them quickly, because that would have been the adrenaline destiny, the fury destiny, but neither is he getting into real trouble against them. When I see our health going, taking chunks of damage against a boss particularly, I try to use the blood tribute to keep us in a good situation. Between that and the renewal, generally speaking, it's okay. The only time I've died since reaching Epic was, you could probably predict it, similar to what we've had all along really, and similar situation that would put most, if not all, builds in trouble, which is the damage over time, the terrible damage over time given by those red grounds, which in my opinion at least are significantly worse threat-wise than any Reaper could be. If they hit you with that thing, it's just it's almost good night, because they just laugh at my blood tribute to try and stanch the damage. Even a warlock with maybe 500 points worth of stanch, it would go through that in literally seconds. So those things are pretty formidable, but I'm happy to say it hasn't happened too often. What else have we got here? I've reorganized the Reaper trees as mentioned I was going to do, so I've got core 4 in each one. We've gone for a maximum number of memento charges, just one in each. If you didn't know, let's just take this one for the example, because this is the one we're invested in, Reaper's Strike. So this is 30% bonus to double strike for 30 seconds. Now for every point I have in any other memento, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we get an extra +1 to our initial total of 2 Reaper's Strike. So we've now got 8, so I can virtually hit the haste and the Reaper Strike at the same time now, and just keep going that way. So we have a big and pretty significant boost to attack speed and boost to double strike at once. So that's very nice to have. Otherwise, standard stuff, tactic DCs, melee power. I've got 6 more melee power for going into this section here. More strength. That 4th core is nice, 2 more to hit and damage. I just threw 2 in here because we happen to have 2 spare just for another boost there. I've got rid of everything in dodge, as I said I was going to. Because of the dodge and mobility feats we took, we just don't need it. We're capped out anyway for dodge. So everything is in con, reflex save, a bit more PRR and the boosts, so that's nice. And of course the 4th core here, 100 hit points and +1 on all saves, so that's a great position to be in. What else do we have here? Yeah, we had, as mentioned before, we had a weapon decision to make here, and it's a much of a muchness, to be honest. We've got the Epic Zoom, excellent weapon, great critical profile, some nice little extra bits, Flaming Blast, and we've got a Ruby of Shock in there as well. And then there's the Drow, Great Axe of the Weapon Master, higher base dice but lower critical profile. So that only crits on a 17 to 20, whereas this one is a 15 to 20. But as you can see from the numbers, it very much balances out, so it's just a question of which one we prefer. Or you could say as well that against enemies that are very resistant to crit, the base damage of the Great Axe will be pulling that one slightly ahead. But still, I think it's either would be absolutely fine, and as that's the case, we're going to go with the Great Axe for flavour, because I think he looks good with this Dark Axe thrown in there. And as mentioned, any time there's no crits on the table, he's doing slightly more damage, so it's not such a bad thing. So that's that decision made. I have put the Whispering Ring in, as mentioned, and we could say that's a little bit of a thing in favour of the Great Axe, because as the Great Axe has stunning, I've no need for the stunning ring that was in here, so we can upgrade to a slightly better one, quality accuracy, quality deadly, a bit more melee power there to help us. So that's a little bit extra in favour of the axe that we don't actually see on the numbers. I have gone a little bit further in the Dreadnought tree. We've picked up the Mantle, the Dire Charge, which is like a rush forward and hit multiple opponents attack. I've been testing with it. Seems to work quite nicely. At the moment it's just doing a Sunder, which is not really too helpful to us, reducing opponents' armor class. But I'm practicing with it anyway, because it's a plus 20 damage, and it's on multiple targets. So I'm practicing for the time when we'll be able to get it to this, which is a trip. Now, what worries me is that DCs wise, as you could see from the Borderlands quests, I thought we were in a pretty good place. We had 63 on the stun and 65 on the trip in Reaper, so it's now going to be 64 and 65. The stun is working reasonably well on multiple targets. The trip, honestly, has been a disaster, and I have no idea why. I'm thinking back to our Alchemist life at this stage, and I can't think that we had much more than 65 reflex, on the offensive vials at this point. And yet we're failing everything, just everything. I'm doing it against groups, against minions, things that I would have thought would be, fairly low and dead easy to crowd control. And it doesn't seem to matter what it is. I've tried against undeads in Spies in the House. I've tried, against casters, sorcerers and things, and it's still not working. So I'm really disappointed with that. and a little bit concerned that this also is a trip effect, but it's going on a fortitude save, so that gives me hope that maybe it will be significantly more effective than the standard trip here is, because at the moment it's borderline whether it's even worth using that. And it's really disappointing because it works so well in heroic. It's like we've kind of fallen off a cliff with this, and I don't know why. I don't know whether there's something, it's displaying me 65, but it's actually something else. I really don't know. It's saying there in the description, actually, DC 10 plus strength mod, as though it's not accounting for the trip bonuses, the vertigo. But then it says the same thing for the stun, and I know that both of them are taking those mods, the sapphires that we've got in the gear. So I really don't know what's going on there. I wish it would work better, because we've kind of invested on that side, and the build has been doing really well on the back of that. I just don't quite understand why we seem to have fallen off a cliff with that, but I'll continue to try, and we'll see if we can't get some kind of an improvement. Failing that, I guess we're left with the stun side of things, and as mentioned, there is hope, because this trip seems to go off a fortitude stun thing rather than trip itself, and so does the later one there. That's a stun. So, and fortitude again. So at least we would have this dire charge working, plus maybe the stunning blow, if the trip turns out to be completely useless. But I don't understand why. I mean, I get that they're on different saves, but they were on different saves all the way through heroic, and right into late heroic, that trip was working just fine, very effective. And now suddenly we're in epic, and you're telling me, even though we've boosted the save up quite significantly, we can't get anything to work. Seems a bit fishy to me, but anyway, that's how it is. That's what I've found thus far. I think that is about it. So yes, we've picked up in Dreadnought the dire charge attack. Nice to close. That one, as well as the whirlwind. They're obviously the two new things, and I'm trying to work those in to get used to having them there, to make sure we use the raging crush as well when available. Guaranteed crit. And of course we've got the combat brute now, so while in our dread mantle, our weapons do an extra 1W damage. So that's nice to have. In the short term, I guess we can pick up the extra action boosts in here, and the plus on all ability scores when we activate a boost. I think that third one would be nice as well, because our fortification isn't exactly amazing, is it? Okay, I thought we'd have a go. I needed 2 goes at the, what's it called, the Thrask Arena. The death I mentioned was at the end of that one. There were a load of opponents, one of which was a crown caster, and it just got the damage over time on me before I could stop it, and that was all she wrote. Now this one, of course, the second one in the chain, the prisoner, has beholders amongst everything else, and we don't have any spell resistance item. Go on, let's have a little look, see what's going on the shard exchange. 2 pale lavender ion stones. One's going for 210. That's actually as good as I've seen recently, and I did make quite some shards. I've got 730 there, you can see. I made quite some shards selling the cards there, the cursed deck cards. So maybe that could be a possibility. I'll have to mull that one over. 200 plus shards is still an awful lot of an outlay for me. But we have been talking about this pale stone. I mean, the alternative, if you don't know, this one comes out of the Dreaming Dark chain, but it's kind of well, it is random which ones can drop for the chain completion, and yeah, farming it can be a bit of a pain. Hence the high prices here in shards. It can actually drop completely randomly in a level appropriate quest, but you'd be really lucky if you do happen to drop one. For God's sake, don't sell it if your character doesn't have one, and make sure, unlike one of our poor buggers in days gone by, that you upgrade it first before putting it to use, because if you just use it like that, after those 20 charges are gone, the thing will just dissolve into nothing. You have to upgrade it at the end of the Dreaming Dark chain. What's that last quest called? I forget. It's the one where you face a raid boss at the end, so don't do it on too difficult a level. And once you've got through that, you get, is it some kind of dream forge or something, and you've got to combine some ingredients with the stone to upgrade it, and then it has 50 charges, and I think it recharges when it's on 0, it recharges 15 per rest or per quest completion. So really handy for defending against the attacks of the beholder, who will otherwise eat all your buffs and quite possibly neg level you as well. Meantime, we were supposed to be doing a quest, weren't we? Okay.
A beautiful elf maiden sits by the fountain, lost in thought.
Right, so do I even bother doing any buffs given what's going to happen here? I think probably not. We'll go to the beholder first. Maybe it can't dispel ragey type stuff. Let's just try that.
A beholder roars, hungry for slaughter.
Crikey, already that neg levels. So we can kill it fairly quickly, but it's got 4 neg levels on us. I do have some of these gloomy potions of restoration, because obviously we have no UMD. So where is that another beholder down there? No, it isn't. Let's go straight to the next one. So the restoration just gets rid of 1, not like the greater resto scroll. These potions just get rid of 1 neg level at a time. But it's still pretty good to have. So the other one I think is down here. So that you can't dispel the rage, that's good to know. Let's remember the big attacks, the Raging Crush and the Whirlwind, when we go down there. Put both boosts on.
My tyrant thrashes you with a malignant.
I think we may actually have stunned him as well. Beholders have very low fortitude save. So, yeah, that was pretty good. Okay, we may as well go up here then, might we? Put the rest of the buffs on, because I think that's the beholder quota done. managed to avoid getting any kind of level drain there, so that was nice. I think there is the odd shrine at the end of some of these. There's like 4 mini tasks in this quest if you don't know it. So they are stunnable. Oh, big one there. That was the Raging Crush from the Orc tree. Nice. I'm still keeping this black razor for any ooze that might pop up. So yeah, there's a shrine there. I don't think... Oh, is it just... It's just a res shrine by the looks of it, so we don't need that. Now, can we get back down to terra firma? So let's go and do the one with the gusts of wind here.
Forceful winds threaten to send you off into the ether.
Now there is a beholder in this section too, but you can bypass it by taking a bit of a shortcut. So if we go, rather than go round here, which is the obvious way, if we go in here, just cut round, the beholder appears there normally, but because we've cut through here, it's not going to trigger. So we save ourselves that. Beautiful stun there, that was nice. Finished with the big Raging Crush. Happy days. So yeah, I just don't understand it. You can see there, oh well, 58 because I've let the rage lapse, but 63 and 64 on trip, and for some reason the trip's just not working. There's something wrong there somewhere. I think we'll bypass this. If for any reason you don't want to fight the ooze here, and you have a decent jump, you can just jump round here and then up. Fighting the ooze, if you didn't know, drops a ladder to progress up to this level, but you can just jump round and jump up if you maybe you're an acid warlock and you would just heal the ooze, or maybe you're like me and you don't have a particularly good ooze beating weapon. Okay. So what's the easiest way back down? Just jump down there. Yeah. So we've done that side, we've done the beholder on this side, we've just got to go and do the giant now, haven't we? And so far, it's gone rather well. It does actually flash up when the rage runs out, but if you're in the middle of a bit of a situation, you can miss it. Now on the epic version of this, if you haven't tried it in epic before, you have to, unlike in heroic, you have to go and light up three runes. One. I'll try and trip this thing and show you how bad it is. See, nothing happened, it saved. I just don't get that. So the stun thing is working quite nicely, but the trip just has died a death. It happened just as we got into Epic. I can't remember if I'll have to have a look back at the ones we did in the Borderlands. Just see if anything got tripped in there, because it literally just felt like falling off a cliff with that, and I can't quite understand it. As you can see, the lower level stun is working pretty well. The values displayed are very similar. I know it's a different save. If any of you has any input on that, I would be glad to hear it. Nice whirlwind there. So we've got offensive options aplenty. I'm not happy that our crowd control, at least at the moment, seems to have been cut in two, because it is on a reasonably long cooldown, that stunning blow. So to have had the trip as an option as well was great, and now suddenly we don't anymore. Ooh, trap. Not good. Of course it helps if you hit the thing. I just plain old missed that guy with the trip. Wow! I'd premeditated that one. That was the stunning blow followed by raging crush, running up the numbers. Okay. Now I think in Epic, this guy, we have to fight, don't we? I need to pay more attention to the duration of the rage. It's not good me letting that run out. Got all the boosts on. Go on. And we absolutely mauled him. Happy days. Hold the door now. Don't let them come through yet. Oh, I see a crown in there. That could be... No, actually, that's just fine. Can we get out of here before the second wave comes, please? Let's put the feather fall gear on. Where can we drop to? Down there? Let's try. So that's all the items collected. Let's just make sure we are nicely boosted up. Present them all to her, and if you just focus fire Orphney, everything else will disappear. Hood of Unrest. Nice crit with the raging crush again. Come on, we're almost there. Go on, do it. Yes, nice. Happy days. So yeah, maybe it was a good idea. One thing we are short of is spike damage not being in the Fury tree. So to have that Raging Crush, a guaranteed crit, extra damage, it's not such a bad thing for when you want to. Maybe there's a Reaper or a nasty crown, or in this case an end boss. You want to just put the boot in a bit. I think any self-respecting orc should have a means to put the boot into an enemy. Okay. Well, I'm not too disappointed at all with how that went. The only significant disappointment thus far is just game mechanic related, it seems. Just this failure of this trip. If I happen to find out why that's the case, I'll mention it later. But maybe, I think more than likely, one of you might come up on this thing and point out something I've either missed or something in the game that works differently with this. But I just can't understand why in Heroic it was fine, and now suddenly just nothing doing. Save, save, save. It's not that it's not working, they're just all saving. So yeah, a bit of a strange one. Given how I like my crowd control, I'm a little bit sad at that. I mean, that was the thing that was getting us through against those enormous Hezro things. In fact, wasn't that? That was yeah, that was the Borderlands, wasn't it? As recently as that. So I can't understand why it's good for them and not good here. Unless there's some kind of a different formula with the older content or something. I'm just really scratching my head on that one. Anyway, on the plus side, we did alright in that quest. We are asserting our authority, shall we say, on the denizens of most dungeons. And that's got to be a good thing. Here in early Epic, where I've traditionally struggled to manage on Reaper, I'm more than happy at that. We'll just have to plan without the trip, at least for now. I mean, I noticed there was a thing in the Fury tree that actually, I think there are extra trip DCs in there, and eventually you get improved trip. But if it's as useless as this is being at the moment, then perhaps I'm glad that we're not invested in there this time around. Okay, I haven't done the Evening Star one yet, so that's definitely on the radar. While we're in Kundarak, we could have a go at some of the red fens for a few more tokens of the 12, because those always come in handy for TRing purposes. And of course we've got this chain to finish off. Now that's going to be a real challenge, the Jungle of Khyber and the many beholders in there. You'll have to excuse me, the dog's just sat on the headphones wire, so I'm struggling a bit to finish this one. I think we'll leave it there. Thanks very much as always for looking, and I will speak to you next time. Take care.